But the FBI is investigating. Kev, I hope you never have the FBI investigating you. That's always that's never a good thing.
I've, I've, I was working a little illegal deal down in Atlanta, and let me put it this way: as I came to my senses after the flashbang grenade, and in front of me was a large black man with a blue windbreaker with an FBI stencil on it and a shotgun pointed to my head.
Yeah, I thought you were going to tell me you woke up with Ahmed Johnson in your room. So
Ugh.
what's this illegal? All right, so this is Atlanta. So this is first WCW run or
Oh
before?
no, this is what brought me. This is what brought me into Atlanta. This is how I went from this arrest to working the Cheetah.
Okay, that's right. The Cheetah Club, the
Yeah, I worked the
gentleman's
Cheetah.
establishment.
Yeah, it was really there was this place called the American Muscle Factory, I think. It was on Johnson Ferry Road, and there was a couple of guys in there that bigger guys, but they were all business guys. Like they worked, and like the first time there was this guy that killed Eastern Airlines flight attendant. His name was Kevin Cash, and so I'm doing upright rows. I'm in the gym. I've been in town maybe a month, and they come in, cuff me, take me out, and they take me down, and I mean I've got to do the lineup, the whole bit, and they put me in the lineup because the guy at the front desk saw checked the guy in. And they said, and they actually did the thing like they do on TV. You don't see anybody up there like number 4, and you know
Wait, you're taken in because you're mistaken,
I'm Kevin Cash.
Kevin Cash.
Somebody called, and they called from that fucking from the gym because they were looking like the thing was on TV that the person used Kevin Cash, and they were just, and I was kind of like just a loner that was I didn't hang out with anybody. I just started showing up at the gym, and I was a 300-pound guy, and I guess he strangled her, killed her.
The real Kevin
So
Cash.
yeah, and so I got out of that, and then so I'm working at this American legal thing. It was a prepaid legal thing that was a scam, and these guys are trading across the hallway in this giant building, and after the FBI arrests us, they see him take me out in chains with the shackles and the whole office. They take us all out, and these guys are like, Jesus Christ, it's that fucking guy again. It
I
was
would have
me.
left Atlanta, by the way.
It was me. So then I did.
What are you getting arrested for now? You're glossing over what's illegal
Okay,
in this
so
operation. American
uh,
legal, como se
so
llama? What is it?
okay, so the pretense was that you're 5 times more apt to end up in court than you are at hospital. Everybody has medical insurance. Nobody has legal insurance. It was a coast to coast uh, legal thing where if you got pulled over in Jackson, Mississippi, you'd have your number, and you'd have legal service in moments. And so we put it on late night TV, and then we had we took it on the franchise circuit, and on the franchise circuit we sold it, and it's called Take One Advertising, which is no longer, I don't think, something. But if you
Yeah,
remember
shocking.
back in the day, that every restaurant you went into had a American Express card thing where you could get an American Express card on top of the cigarette machine. And you would go in there and you would take that and you would fill it out and you would send it in. And on the back of that, there was a code. And that code would be, say, if that was my like stand, then that code would pay
credit you,
and American Express would charge $70, and I'd get 35, and American Express would get 35, and then every year that they would renew it, you got $20, so you got residual income. So basically, what they did was these very smart young gentlemen that I was working with put together a presentation that basically is the perfect thing that you can do to be successful as a criminal in America is sit down with a husband and a wife and show them how they can sit on their fucking ass and get rich. And part like when you did the $500,000 installment, we threw in a Yugo. That way your kid could go out and fill the pamphlets. And so we were going to the franchise things. I was just muscle basically, but I would always take all the cashier's checks and I would FedEx them. Wherever we were, I'd FedEx them. We'd go to the next town, I'd FedEx them. Well, each time that you use the mail service, that's considered mail fraud.
Yes, sir.
And each one of those is a 7-year sentence.
And you've mailed out how much? 7 times what? What's the skid ratio on your prison sentence here?
When they sat me down the first time and questioned me, I did as close as I could to Sling Blade. I mean, I was just like, I'm just muscle.
Played the big mental defective who had no idea what was going on.
I'm here to get these guys laid. They pay me good, but not that good. I don't understand what you're saying, and spend a little time, and finally everybody rolls because everybody always does. And I got out, and the guy that served me, like we all got out on bail, and the guy that served me for my court date, his name was Peter Both. He came and got me and took me to the Cheetah. And I walked in and I started work that next day at the Cheetah, which I would later meet Barry Windham, which would later get me into the business.
Oh.
But the kicker is that the guy that was behind this case was a guy named Doyle Alexander, and he was like the district, like the prosecutor in Atlanta at the time. And years go by, and I'm in the Salt Lake Airport. I think I'm with Scott. I think I'm with Scott and Sean Michaels, and we're walking, and there's this guy with his wife and kids, and he's just smiling. I'm like, man, I know this guy, but I can't place him. And he's smiling, and he just says, he shook my hand. He goes, man, I knew I was right about you. He goes, I'm so proud of you, man. He goes, you probably don't remember me. And he reached into his, handed me, and I looked at it, and said, Doyle Alexander. And he was high up in the justice system. And funny side story to that is, like, when I met my wife, one of the first luncheons we have, I'm trying to play it down that I'm not, because when I came into town, like, there was almost like a bidding war because there was these different drug factions that were moving coke that wanted me to work for them, and as muscle. And I've always carried a gun. So I remember one time something happened. I remember like I maybe flashed a gun at some people that were going to fuck this guy up that owed him money. That was a guy that I knew. I can't remember, but something like that. And so my wife had heard that I was trouble, but like I was kind to her, and I took her to see water lilies at Monet, so she figured maybe she'd give me a chance. And I mean,
gun-toting, sensitive art major.
About their third lunch, fucking guy sits down in a fucking Herculon fucking sports coat, fucking puts a card between us on the table. It says, "Just want to make sure you know we're keeping an eye on you." It was so and so special agent FBI, and my Tamara looks down and sees this fucking card from the FBI. She goes, the guy gets up. She goes, "Why is the FBI watching you?" I said, "I don't know. I think it's probably some shit that happened in Detroit." Just like.
And this is all related to the scam you were running. And
all that shit, yeah.
This is fantastic, but this is great, Kevin. I'm so proud of you because I always talk about the time in wrestling where the characters, quote unquote, were so closely connected to the off-the-wall, edge of the world lifestyle that these guys lived. If they didn't find wrestling to tether them to the earth, they would have gone right over a cliff. The locker rooms,
or in C block,
right? That's what I mean. Yeah, this was the only thing to give you guys legitimacy. So I like to hear the story of a man on the edge that finds solace in the wild and woolly world of professional wrestling. There's a little alliteration for you. Kevin, it's time for the tap out.
I thought for sure I was going to, I mean, there was no way when I left Detroit. I mean, when I got smacked my coach and all that shit, I thought like, fuck. Because I went back to Detroit and got into some shit there immediately. And I had to get out of there, so I got out and got to Knoxville, or to Atlanta.
It's going to be an interesting book someday. Not letting you get away with it.
But do it on a film, make it a film strip.
Well, they purchase the book and make it the film. The tap out.
No, the film strip. Remember when you were a kid, they had the film strip and they put the album down and they'd play it and it'd ding when it was time to turn
to click to the
next picture.
Yes. I'm old enough to remember that.
Yeah, we're going to do that.